He certainly did. Let's get Barbara Heineback's view now. As I said, you served in the Carter and Clinton administrations. Have you seen a performance as bad as that from Joe Biden?
He did all he could, I think, just to stay awake. But, you know, Kieran, I really consider this a three-way race because the pariah, the invisible elephant that wasn't in the room, is Kamala Harris. And both the Democrats and Republicans are deathly scared of her becoming the president. And that is what I believe is going to happen if we are to have 4 more years of Joe Biden. So whatever trick the Democrats have up their sleeve and they want to pull in to try to replace Joe Biden at this point, I'm not sure what it will be. But there were a number of things that were said, and Biden tried to take credit for. I was shocked that he even brought up the subject of Afghanistan after that was such a fiasco for the USA.
Yeah, that's a good point. James Morrow, to you. And objectively, you could argue, many do, that Joe Biden on the numbers has done well as president, that his administration has done well on the economy and other matters. But his performance today, what was your assessment of it just in terms of his performance in that debate versus a coherent Donald Trump? You might not agree with him. You might think he's lying half of the time, as many Democrats would argue. But clearly it was a dominant performance from the former president.
Yeah, look, Trump dominated that debate. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And that was largely because, you know, Joe Biden really vacated the field. There are two sort of tests that you can apply when you're watching a presidential debate. One is to turn the sound off and watch the visual to see who seems stronger. And the other one is to only listen to the audio and not watch the visual and see who seems stronger. I think Trump won absolutely on both of those counts. I think by about minute 12, in that debate, Joe Biden was really starting to lose it. He was starting to wander. It seemed like he was briefed with all of these sorts of set pieces that he would start to go in on, that he was very well trained on, that he'd been drilled on for the last week while he'd been hiding out in Camp David. And then, you know, would just sort of drift off to this or that or the other thing, and the numbers would get mixed up and his train of thought would get mixed up. And, you know, it was an unfortunate performance from him. Barbara mentioned a third sort of element in the room and said that was Kamala Harris. Well, she wasn't in the room there, but you know who was in the building tonight? There's another third element. That's California Governor Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, I think, will be licking his chops at what he saw tonight because he is an obvious next step if the Democrats decide to say, well, this guy's not going to work out for us. That debate was a disaster. I know for a fact that donors, big money donors, are already starting to get nervous about what they're seeing. So the question is, do we now see an internal Democrat Party civil war as a result of this?